Alright, so this is our last lesson for this particular project B, and this is what we have so far. We've styled the left and right box to an extent. So we have some of this padding to fix, and some of this padding on the right side to fix as well. So if we come back into our style.css, we'll notice here that we have our left box. Has a width of 316. We want to add a padding to it. Padding affects the width. So when we say padding 40 pixels, what we're adding is padding left and right, 40 pixels to the left and 40 pixels to the right. So the width has increased by 80 pixels because we've added 40 pixels left and right. So what we need to do is adjust our width by taking away 80 from it. So we could delete 316 and give it a new width of 236. Okay, so if we go back into our document and refresh, we can see the width has been adjusted for us. So we need to do the same with the height. So the height will be minus 80, which give us 190. Okay, so padding affects the width and height property. So now everything looks fine. So we need to do exactly the same thing with our right box. So I'm going to change the width minus 80 and change the height minus 80 to give 190. So we could add padding, and we could give it a padding of 40 pixels, which is 40 pixels left, right, top, and bottom. And there we go. We have our new padding. The content is not great. I will adjust that in a minute. So everything looks okay with the padding. We have padding top and down, left and right. We could live with that. That looks okay. That looks good. Over here, I can just increase the content a little bit. So if we go into into our HTML, we could adjust it to look a bit more fuller than it is. It does look a bit empty right now. So if I go into HTML, I can copy this. Actually, I can delete this completely and regenerate. Type lorem and then tab, and we'll get a whole new bunch of content. Let's check it out. As a lot of content, we could delete a bit of it just to this point. Okay, full stop. Save this, and then we can check it out again. Yep, the content looks good. Okay, so we've dealt with padding. We have this section of the padding to deal with. So that's a container. So we need it to be more like this. So if we head back into our style and we go into our container, we need to add a padding. Add padding to a container. We could say 13 pixels. Okay, so again, this will affect the width of our document. So if I refresh here, you can see it's added some padding, but it hasn't fixed this here. That's because the width needs to be adjusted. So it's now 26 pixels left and right. So we need to take 26 away from the width of 671, which would give us 645. Okay, so 645. If we save this and we come back and we refresh, and voila, everything looks magical. It's all looking very good. Our padding and everything else has come in together, and it looks like a finished product. So we've learned a few things. Padding affects width and height. Okay, so every time you add padding, you have to subtract the total of your padding from your width. The reason why we didn't have to worry about the height in this case is that there isn't a height to worry about. The height is automatically set for us, so we don't have to worry about reducing the height. But wherever you have a width, you have to update it, as we did in this case. So this is the last lesson for project B. We've learned a few things, we've used images, we've looked at padding and a few other things that you can revise on. The next project is project C. We'll be looking at a bit more things, so see you then.